Hello, hello, good afternoon, good morning, good day, wherever you are. Welcome to the Be the CEO of Your Life live show. I'm Yvonne Dam of Amazing Self Coaching, and I help ambitious business owners like yourself to make their business more profitable in less time. And in this show, we are talking about how you can do that, how you can really look after yourself, how you can do more in less time. And I'm very excited because today I have an amazing guest here. I was going to say in the studio, but that's a bit, we're in different countries. But hey, here in the studio today with me is Alex. Hi, Alex. Can you please introduce yourself?
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you so much for having me on. So I'm Alex Hall. As my name shows, I'm a DNA fat loss coach. Actually, really simple. All it means is to help people lose weight, lose fat specifically. But I get my clients to do a DNA test, and I use the genetic insights, the sort of data that we get from that, to basically really streamline, hyper-personalize the process that I take with each individual, because everyone is unique. Our DNA proves that. Your DNA results, I always say, are the one thing you cannot Google. So do a saliva test, find out what works best for you, and then I help you implement it.
I love how you just in 1 minute gave everything away. So we're now basically done, right?
Sorry.
Okay, no, I love it. We've got Michael is watching.
Hey, Michael.
Well, so today we're going to talk about, I think, and you're an expert here, so I really want to hear your story. But many of my clients, when we start working together, they often tell me, I don't have time to work out. They don't say it, but basically they either eat too much or they don't eat during the day and then they binge eat at night, or another one, the one behind your desk and then just eating. And unfortunately, yet nobody can, continue to eat without gaining weight. And this is where actually I'm laughing about it, but it's serious because many of my clients really struggle with it. And for some, it really gets bad, so bad that they don't want to, really dread to go out of the house. So I would love to hear your story, how you got to this method you're using. Tell me a bit about you, because first of all, I want to know, and we just spoke, but I just want to know, you look very skinny, right? So what's your story? Have you always been like this? What happened?
Yeah, so going back right to the start, I was a skinny kid, and I'm very outward about it now because I feel a bit more confident about it. But I've always been a gamer, a video gamer, board gamer, that sort of thing. And I remember coming home from school every day, and I'd just sit behind the computer and I wouldn't move. I'd just play games from the minute I got home from school until the minute Mum told me off enough times that I'd eventually go to bed. And I have a very specific memory of in summer being told off for not going outside, not going out and exercising. And Mum being like, Alex, you need to go and get some fresh air. So she'd go away. I'd open the window, and then she'd come back. And she'd say, Alex, you need to go and get fresh air. I'd be like, window's open, I'm getting fresh air. So that's the sort of shortcut that my brain tries to go for. So eventually I caved, and I was like, okay, I need to go outside and do some exercise and stuff. And so when I was gaming, I was playing what's called RPG games, called role-playing games.
Yes.
So the concept is you play a character. It's typically like medieval setting or something, and you kind of level up. You get better at things. You get better at fighting. You get better armor. You do some farming, build a house, whatever, these sorts of things. So I'd always kind of had that incremental progression model. Basically, my brain just worked like that, wired from these games. So, and something I'd always try to do was maximize the efficiency of my leveling. So if I wanted to go from, say, level 50 to 60, I'd always try and find the most efficient way in the game
to
go about doing that. So when I eventually started to kind of, actually get up off my bum and do some exercise, get out into the outdoors, I researched and was like, how can I get the most benefit from 15 minutes, 20 minutes?
Yeah.
the shortest space amount of time as possible. So I started doing some exercise, started playing around with a few things. And then eventually I kind of got to the point where I was like, I need to learn more about nutrition. I started to understand, okay, there's actually a really close tie-in with nutrition. What I eat makes me feel really good or makes me feel really bad after a workout, my recovery the day after, and so all these things. Started noticing this in myself. So that started probably at the age of 14, 15 or so. That started a bit younger than that. Started the next 12 years or so of experimenting on myself, nutrition, health, well-being, you name it. I was always trying to level myself up, taking that sort of role-playing analogy, and basically see where I could take myself to. Then I went to university and did engineering degree, so something completely unrelated, kind of, I guess, tying into that analytical way of looking at things. Hated it. Put simply, 2 years in, I kind of figured I'm too far in to drop out, but this isn't for me, so I'll stick with it. I spent more time during my university years learning about health and well-being and continuing this whole experimentation, especially in the gym. I was in the gym like 6 days a week, eating everything in sight pretty much. And eventually, finished that 4 years, went to work for a supplement company, because I've been using the supplements and they had a graduate program. So I was like, oh, I'll go work for them. They have a data analytics role, aligns with my kind of analytical problem solving mindset that the engineering degree had helped implement. Switched across into a marketing role. And then eventually sort of 6 months in, or less than that, 3 months in, I was marketing weight loss shakes, product, supplement, pills, diets. But I should clarify, rapid weight loss. So lose a lot of weight very, very quickly. But unfortunately, what I then learnt or began to realize was that our clients were gaining the weight back and then they would repurchase.
Oh.
So it was a incredible business model.
Right.
They lost tons of weight, so they felt good about this product.
Yeah.
But then it was totally unsustainable, like absolutely unsustainable. So then when they finished, should we say finished their 4 week, 2 week thing, sometimes they would gradually creep back up, get to a point where they're like, I need to lose weight again. Crash diet, lose the weight very quickly, aka repurchase all the products that we sold them. So it's an amazing business model, but the repurchase rate was very high. And I kind of came to realize, with the sort of stuff that I'd learned over the past years and my own experimentation, like I'm one of the baddies here. I generally started to sort of play on my moral compass, if you will. I see myself quite a good person. I enjoy helping people, and as I am now a coach. But I was spending my time ensuring people would lose weight, but then gain it back. And they'll probably gain back more than what they lost.
Oh, even then as well.
So eventually, if so let's say they start here.
Yeah.
That's really difficult. If I start here and then they drop and then they go up to here and then they drop and then they go up to here.
Oh, geez, I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah, because basically the method through which you lose weight will very much impact the ability to maintain that or gain it back after losing weight. So most people go and lose weight very quickly, which dramatically reduces your ability to maintain that.
Yeah.
The easiest way to maintain weight loss is to start thinking about it from the start. I'm sure we can get into that if needs be. So after a little while of working in this company, I was building up a team and I was spending a lot of money. I was in the paid marketing team, so client acquisition was what I was doing every day. I was making sure that plenty of people were going to fail their weight loss, their long-term weight loss goals, by spending more money. And eventually, that kind of got to a point where I was like, I can't continue to do this for my own sort of benefit of a salary. So I started as a nutrition coach. Qualified, started as a nutrition coach, started working with clients, a bit of a mix of kind of some people wanted to gain muscle, some people wanted to lose weight. Tried a few different things with different outcomes, we say, with different clients. Realized pretty early on that A, where my specialty lies, B, what I enjoy most is working with people through their fat loss journey. So sort of started to hone in and specialize in that. And then about a year and a half ago, I did a DNA test myself. I had the opportunity to do one. And I honestly thought, having done by this time about 14 years of experimenting on myself, I honestly thought, what can I learn? I genuinely thought, what can I learn? I know how my body works. I've tried so many different things. I'm not going to learn anything. That was my whole mindset, which was so immature of me looking back now. But I gave it a go. It was a saliva test, so super simple, did quick, got the results back a few weeks later. Looked at them and kind of didn't think much of them. And then eventually I was kind of like, you know what, I'll give this a go. What's the worst that can happen, right? Worst that can happen, I'll just go back to how I was eating.
Yeah.
I know that kind of works for me, so that's great. Made some changes, and my sleep, which has always been a problem for me. I've always been struggling with sleep, struggling to get off in the evening and then stay asleep and sort of wake up feeling rested. My sleep suddenly transformed. I was feeling tired at bedtime, and my brain was switched off, and I could just drift off, as I guess a normal person would. My energy the following day it wasn't all up and down depending on what I'd eaten or what I'd drunk. It was just consistent. I would call it flat, but flat doesn't quite sell it enough. So I'd just say, I wake up and I just have the same energy as I do at 10 a.m. as 2 p.m. or 6 p.m. It's just flat. And then I'd always been sort of bought into, should we say, the grind or hustle mentality.
Mm-hmm.
I always thought I needed to work harder, not smarter.
Yeah.
I'd done, when I was working my corporate role, I'd been the guy who would come into work with a plastic bag full of 6 Tupperware boxes with little snacks, little portioned out things, and I'd be eating every 2 hours. I was always the guy who was eating at his desk, basically. And then I'd go to the gym and work out for like 2 hours every day, pretty much. So I was the whole extreme side of things. And basically, and even then, I wasn't getting amazing results. I wasn't progressing that much. I was just working super, super hard, just spinning my wheels so fast, but not just exhausting myself, essentially. So I reduced my training volume. So I started working out 3 days a week. I switched up. I want to be very careful here. I by no means eat less now than I did. I just eat very differently. My meal times are more convenient to what I do, but the meals themselves, they're not actually that different. There's just a few tweaks here and there, right? But what that has enabled me to do.
Give me an example of one of those tweaks so I understand it, because what are you talking about?
Yeah, so I used to eat a lot of coconut. So coconut is a healthy coconut oil. I used to eat fresh coconut.
Oh, yes. Yeah.
Coconut milk in curries. And basically my genetics, I respond very poorly to that sort of fat source. So it was basically had a high propensity towards being stored as fat. I was eating, let's say, a lot of this good fat, but it was being stored as had a higher chance of being stored as fat, essentially. So I started to change up, reduce that coconut intake, cook things in, say, olive oil, rapeseed oil, that sort of thing. And my body deals with that sort of fat really well.
Yeah.
So I don't gain fat as easily from it. So my ability to stay leaner, and this isn't without eating less, I need to stress this, because the stereotype is you just eat less, you just move more. But it's never that. The reality is never that simple. So I just made a few tweaks to what I was eating. Caffeine was probably the second thing. I wasn't consuming a lot of caffeine, but I was having green tea in the afternoon, which has some caffeine in it, not much, but a bit. But then like 3 cups of it until like 5 p.m.
Yeah.
Basically, my body is super, super sensitive to caffeine, which I never realized because I'd always done that.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like my baseline, my normal was up here or down here, depending which way you want to look at it. But I just never realized that because I'd never had that data, that sort of external viewpoint.
But it's interesting though, because green tea, coconut oil, coconut products in general are considered to be healthy, right? It's what you always hear, especially what is it, coconut oil? I'm thinking about all the things I've read. Eat coconut oil because and coconut oil, especially, I think you can use it for everything, for your body, for your hair, for your whatever.
Hair, skin,
and, yeah. But then green tea, because I'm drinking green tea, so I was like, okay, fascinating, right? So that's what you discovered when you had done that DNA test, that you don't always react to that well.
Yeah. So I want to clarify. Everyone is different. So my results to someone else might actually do better with cooking with the coconut oil and maybe managing the olive oil, for example. Other people, and a really interesting insight, caffeine and focus. We typically correlate caffeine to having a positive effect on our ability to focus. But there's actually a genetic factor here. And my results personally, so I'm highly sensitive to caffeine. It has a very high likelihood of impacting my sleep, but then it was also causing a negative impact on my focus. So, I was building my business at the time, and I was like, I need to be able to focus as much as possible because, I want to be as productive as possible, acquire the right clients and stuff.
Yeah.
So, and honestly, the change that made when I started, I will say I'm drinking decaf green tea at the minute. So I haven't cut out green tea. Green tea has tons of benefits, and I think most people will have some gain from having it, but just be aware that caffeine anytime sort of afternoon for most people is perhaps not going to be ideal. Some people metabolize it, process it very, very quickly.
Mm-hmm.
They can have a coffee, 5 p.m. and just probably be okay before bed. But if I had a coffee about 5 p.m., like I probably wouldn't get to sleep until 3 a.m. or something. So
right.
Yeah.
But you say so it's always personal. So because we all have our own personal DNA, right? Nobody has to, there's always, but you have your own DNA, and basically your DNA determines how you react to certain foods and what you rather eat and what you rather don't eat.
Pretty much, yeah. Whilst we share, I don't know the stat, but like around 99 point something percent of the same DNA, there are tiny little nuances, variances, SNPs as they're called, single nucleotides polymorphisms. But they're the tiny little, if I just switch this, then suddenly you're highly sensitive or not sensitive at all. It's just these little, the base of it is more or less the same, but there's tiny little tweaks that just create these kind of changes. So yeah, everyone is unique, and it's when I'm trying to write content on LinkedIn, it's like I need to make it really clear that what I'm saying in this post is very specific to me. You should avoid these foods. This is basically go and do a DNA test, see what your results say, and off the back of that, make the necessary changes, which is what I do as my profession. So, people find that quite interesting.
And let's say that somebody's watching and they want to do the DNA test. Can you, because you're based in the UK, now some people that are watching this in a replay, they might be based in the US, they might be based in the Netherlands, they might be based all over. How does that work? Is it just for UK clients, or how can you help them?
Yeah, great question. So 80% of my clients are in the US.
Right.
I'm just trying to think. The rest are in the UK. Do I have any Canadian clients? I feel like I've got some Canadian clients, and I've had conversations with people in Australia, but I don't think I've. No, I don't work with anyone in Australia. I've worked with people across Europe as well. So basically, wherever you are, provided the time zones match up, that we can get on a call. That's not at midnight. But I will admit, my day is somewhat shifted. My mornings are very relaxed, and then most of my calls happen at 4 p.m., 5 p.m., 6 p.m., that sort of thing.
Yeah, I hear you. That's for me the same. Yeah. That's why we're going live now, because this is more easy for everyone. And it's also, to be honest, it's a time I can commit to. 6, it's before, it's it's just one of those times that I really work. So I hear you. Okay, so it doesn't really matter where they're located as long as they can get on a call with you. But you send the test then somewhere local, or is it going all the way across the ocean to you in the UK?
So the test delivers wherever. It's just a saliva sample. So it's a little vial. Basically, you just spit into it, put it in a package, and off it goes. It's dead simple. You don't have to go into a clinic. There's no blood test. You could do it from anywhere. Ideally in the morning, first thing in the morning, you spit in the tube, send it off, and off it goes. I believe there's a lab in the UK, Northern Europe, and in the US. So depending on where you are, I think it goes to the closest one.
Right. Yeah. I hear you. And then there's something that I found fascinating. You talk a lot about fat loss, and you're not talking about weight loss. So why is that distinction? Because I think everybody will love fat loss, but that's not true, because I had someone working for me once, and she got very upset because she lost weight. And in her community, losing weight was the worst thing ever. So she wasn't happy with me. But other than that, I think everybody, if you will ask them, you want to lose fat, they will say yes. But if you want to say you want to lose weight, they will say yes as well. So why do you make the distinction?
Great question. So weight can mean water, can mean carbohydrates, can mean muscle, can mean fat. Fat means fat in simple terms. So let me provide a piece of information that will really help to sort of drive this. For every gram of carbohydrates that our body stores, which can be half a kilo, let's say, of just broken down glucose, glycogen that's sitting in our muscles, in our liver, wherever in the body, right? We store 3 to 4 grams of water, okay? So if I have half a kilo of sugar basically stored in my body, I have 1.5 to 2 kilos of additional water. Basically, that carbohydrate is bound to that water. So let's say I go on a ketogenic diet, okay? So keto is a very, very restrictive, very low carbohydrate diet. So you take in less than 20 grams of carbohydrate. So that's like less than a third of a portion of carbohydrates or something every entire day. So you basically don't touch anything that has carbs. And you lose weight very, very quickly. Week 1, week 2, week 3, your weight will drop very quickly because your body uses up all of those carbs, let's say half a kilo of carbs. And when it uses that up, it also flushes out the water. So you very quickly lose half a kilo of carbs plus 2 kilos of water. You've just lost 2.5 kilos, 5 pounds. But have you lost any fat? Not necessarily, right? So people love this. They can lose a pound a day, which in terms of losing fat, a pound of fat a day is just totally unrealistic, if I'm being honest. It's just not a sustainable thing. Even if I didn't eat, even someone, I'm relatively active, I'm not hugely active. It would take someone with a significantly bigger frame and body and metabolism than mine to burn more than, even if they ate literally nothing, to burn a pound of fat per day. So fat and weight, we're losing the stuff that we want to. No one wants to lose muscle for the most part. No one wants to lose water. No one wants to lose carbohydrates. And if you are losing muscle, this is a really important point to mention. Muscle is a key driver of your metabolism. Okay, so how many calories you burn per day?
Yeah.
Right. Generally, most of us want to burn as many calories per day as we can, because then we can eat more without gaining weight, right?
Yeah.
If my metabolism is set at 2,500 calories, I can eat more than if it was set at 1,500 calories, right?
Yeah.
And if I have more muscle, my metabolism is going to be greater.
Yeah.
So if we lose weight, then we could lose a lot of muscle, which therefore means that our metabolism drops. So keeping the weight off, preventing weight gain, maintaining that just becomes a whole lot harder.
Yeah.
Because your body needs less energy day to day to sort of maintain itself.
I hear you.
That makes sense?
Yeah, makes a lot of sense. So then, I think this is the final question before we're going to wrap it up. Can you also say, okay, I just want to lose my belly weight, belly fat, and not my boob fat? Just putting it out there. you know, right? Yeah, so, I think your problem, but you get the picture.
I do get the picture, yes. Or I want to lose fat off my belly, not my bum, perhaps.
Right. Yeah, that's better. For example.
Unfortunately, spot reduction, as it's called, is a bit of a myth.
Yeah.
So you cannot choose. I don't go, oh, I want to burn fat off my upper abdominal region today. And then your body goes, okay, great, I'll just burn fat in that area. Like there's no conversation that we're having. Having said that, there are should we say actions and things that you can do. You can provide data to your body in other ways, chemical data, should we say, which I'll explain in a second. That could help drive not so much where the fat comes off, but more where the fat is stored, if any, right? So if you're highly stressed or you're eating a high glycemic carbohydrate diet, so lots of pastries, white breads, sweets, chocolates, that sort of thing.
Yeah.
Comfort foods. The tasty stuff.
Yeah.
That may have a higher propensity to be stored around your middle.
Right.
Because things like stress can impact your hormone balance, and then the food is a big driver of how your hormones kind of balance out. Sleep as well. If you sleep poorly, that's going to have a impact. So generally, there's a four-pronged approach that I like to talk about. So you've got sleep to begin with.
Yeah.
I'm going to start with that because it's a key one. Stress. Nutrition, and then what I call movement. So I could call it exercise, but movement encompasses both purposeful exercise, so like go to the gym or go around or something, but also playing with your dog, playing with the kids, chasing the cat or something.
Yeah.
All of these things burn energy. You are moving your body and therefore increasing your daily expenditure. So by giving your body the signals such as quality nutrition, good sleep, managing stress, you can lose fat perhaps in a way that is more favorable to you.
Yeah.
And I will say that abdominal fat, it's actually internal abdominal fat, so it's called visceral fat, that sits in between your organs, basically. This fat is of greater risk. Is a greater risk factor because it actually can drive some serious kind of metabolic conditions like type 2 diabetes risk and things. But the subcutaneous fat, so the fat that's just underneath our skin, the sort of white stuff that we normally see, it's not necessarily causing harm, but it's going to sort of impact a few things. So there is a benefit to losing that abdominal fat. So I would say if you want to lose the abdominal fat, sleep, focus on your sleep, improving your sleep, and depth and quality of sleep, not just necessarily length of sleep. Manage stress, and then I'm going to say quality of food, not necessarily quantity of food. Obviously, we need to manage quantity of food, but the quality is very important. So.
Okay, I hear you. I like this. So thank you. This was very insightful. You've shared a lot of value. And if people want to reach out, they can either go to your LinkedIn profile, or because we're live on some other platforms as well, just comment underneath the video, and we'll pass it along. Is there anything that you want to share, raise, ask as last final question?
I think I summarized quite nice in the previous step. Weight loss, fat loss is not all about food and exercise.
Right.
Food and exercise. Those are key drivers, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you improve your sleep, you literally, your hormones balance out. If you have a better night's sleep, your hormones are more balanced. So you feel less hungry and you get full easier, right?
Yeah.
In a simplified sense. If you are less stressed,
then
you are going to make better nutritional choices, right? Because you're not necessarily comfort eating to manage that stress. So my biggest piece of advice would be look at the bigger picture, find the easiest thing that you can improve. If you like sleeping more, focus on sleeping more, because that downstream will have a major impact on your fat loss. If you really struggle with stress, do something about that first.
Okay.
Only do more exercise if you really, really need to, because if someone is stressed, more exercise can actually send you backwards. But that's a whole different debate and conversation.
Okay. Thank you so much for being here and sharing this all with us. If anybody would like to contact you, like I said, comment underneath the post and we'll make sure to get in touch. That's the end of today's Be the CEO of Your Life broadcast, and where we help ambitious business owners to make their business more profitable in less time. So see you tomorrow, same time, same place. Bye for now.
Thank you.